Hello. We're going to talk about problems 1.1, A 1 and 2, B's 1 through 3, or A's 1 through 3, B 1 through 2, and then we're also going to discuss question number 3 and part C. So the very first thing is you should have read the entire thing. And with that, you notice that this spreadsheet had two individuals, June and Mia. Now, June had a scores of 80, 60, and 100. Mia had a score of 75, 80, and 85. Okay, so knowing this, at a glance, who do you think will perform better? And that's purely opinion. So you choose the person you think will do better. Give me a second. Part A. Number 1, find the mean and median of June's scores. What do you notice? Well, the mean is just the average. So to find the mean, we take our scores of 80 plus 60 plus 100. Well, 80 plus 60 is 140, plus 100 gives me 240. I take 240 and I divide that by 3, and that gives me 80 as my average. My median, to find that, I take my 3 scores, I list them in order, and then I start at the beginning and end, and I find the one that happens to be in the middle, which happens to be 80. Number 2 says find the mean and median of Mia's scores. What do you notice? Well, the mean, once again, we take 75 plus 80 plus 85. I add those up. This gives me 240. 240 divided by 3 gives me 80. My median. I have them in order. They are already in order for me. I take out the first one and last one. I'm left with one, which is 80. So the very next question is comparing. Well, some of you might be like, well, they're the same. All of them are the same. And that is a comparison. So number 3 says, using only the measures of center. You found parts 1 and 2. Compare June's and Mia's test performances. So, the measures of center are the same. The mean is 80 for both June and Mia, and median is 80 for both June and Mia. Now, that means that you can't tell who's the better test taker. You can't tell right now based on these two, and that's currently what we've been doing in the previous years. So they went ahead and gave you the table again. It says determine the range in MAD of June's test scores. So the range, I always do first. It's easier to do first. My range, I take my largest number for June, which is 100, and subtract my lowest number, which is 60. 100 minus 60 is 40. So here's my range, my MAD. My average is 80. So I'm going to take 80, subtract 80, and find the absolute value of that. Well, 80 minus 80 is just 0. Absolute value 0, 0. The next one, I take 80, and I subtract 60. 80 minus 60 is 20. Absolute value 20 is just 20. The next one, 80 minus 100. 80 minus 100 gives me a negative 20, but the absolute value of that is positive 20. So I take 0 plus 20 plus 20. 0 plus 20 plus 20 gives me 40. I take 40 and I divide that by 3, and it gives me 13.3 repeating. Number 2 says, determine the range in MAD of Mia's test scores. So this is Mia's. So range. My highest was 85. My lowest was 75. 85 minus 75 is 10. So much smaller than June's right now. My MAD, I'll take 80 minus 75. Find the absolute value of that. It gives me 5. I take 80 minus 80. Find the absolute value of that. That gives me 0. I take 80 minus 85. Gives me negative 5, but the absolute value of that is 5. Then I add it up. 5 plus 0 plus 5. That gives me 10. So it becomes 10 over 3, which is 3.3 repeating. So the question becomes, who did better? And so number 3 says, using the measures of spread you found in parts 1 and 2, compare June's and Mia's test performances. Well, knowing this, just looking at range, who would have a better sense of consistency? Well, Mia would be. And you would think that because the range is different. Range is small. So Mia has a smaller range. Than June. That tells me what? That Mia has data points closer together. That's what that tells me. Mia is more consistent with tests due to her MAD MAD actually tells us how consistent that person is. The smaller the MAD, the more consistent the person is. And so it's not a surprise when Mia ends up being more consistent than June, because if you look at June's range, it's so much bigger. But it's only 3 data points. So the question becomes, do you have enough data to make any general statements? And the real answer is no. 3 data points is not enough. So 3 data points isn't enough. Maybe we need more. So that's where part D comes in. So go ahead and work through D1. And once you're done with D1, check out the next video.